Aries. This month is about balance, but not the kind you're used to. A situation around giving and receiving shifts, and a new beginning asks you to trust yourself again. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome to your February monthly general intuitive tarot reading. If you're new here, this is Universal Wisdom Tarot. If you're returning, thank you so much for being here again. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you never miss your spiritual guidance. A decision brings unexpected emotional fulfillment, but only if you choose honesty first. I know you're dying to hear more, so let's get into it. Hey there, Aries. I have already asked for blessings for your reading, so we're going to jump straight into it. I am going to take out all the cards first, and then we'll connect to the messages. So let's get into it. Aries, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. You have this Six of Coins card, and the Six of Coins is pentacles. Okay, coins are pentacles. They call them coins in this deck, but they're pentacles. You have the Fool in your second week, you have Judgment in the third week, and you have the Nine of Cups. But you also have this Temperance card, and Temperance is your theme of the month. So that's where we're going to start. So, Aries, let's start with the fact, at least that it looks to me anyway, like you have a very clear vision. And you know what it is that you want to achieve, all right? And Temperance is that card of saying moderation and balance. It's also a card of saying you're going to have a whole lot of patience. So wanting something is one thing. Waiting for it to come can sometimes be another thing. Okay? So there is here a whole lot of patience that may be required for you in the month of February. Now, I want to make it clear that balance doesn't really mean that you're standing still, right? It means that you know when to pour energy outward and when to draw it back in, okay? So this will be important this month because it appears to be a little bit of a pivotal month here for you. You do have that Fool, you have that Judgment, and that Nine of Cups. It's sort of indicating in that way. You know, the pivot really isn't sudden, okay, and it isn't about chaos. It isn't about burning things down. It isn't about saying, oh, dump the old and go to the new. It's really about adjusting your rhythm, and that's what finding balance is all about, right? So you're moving from maybe being really active, whether that's socially active, you know, active at work, active in any area of your life, right? There is definitely some activity that's going on, or it could be that you're externally focused in terms of moving to something more disciplined, all right? So you could be going from this active, crazy thing to a more disciplined, organized type of environment, if you will, all right? I really feel like this is like an intentional pivot for some of you. And I say that, you know, this moderation says that the shifts are going to happen gradually, maybe week by week. Maybe we'll go even further past February, but you know, we'll wait till we see your next reading to see where that goes, because everybody has free will, and the energy is what it is, you know, at the time of the reading, right? So I would say to you that let's start with this first week. Okay, so let's start with this Six of Pentacles, and it is clarified by the Magician. You have this Ace of Cups, and you also have the Five of Cups, though. So that's kind of an interesting thing that's going on there. Six of Pentacles is sort of where you, if you have an imbalance, you might notice that. Okay, so what might the imbalance be? Six of Pentacles is the card of things in the material world, right? Having enough to say, here's the give and take, giving, receiving, right? It can also be having financial wealth, if you will, because coins are literally that, right? They're money. Okay, so for some of you it might be that, but what I do feel is in this give and take, you're probably reassessing who or what truly deserves your time. Why? Because you have this Five of Cups, which I said is really interesting, because it's like there's been some disappointment before. All right, so either you've experienced some disappointment before and either, you know, thought somebody deserved your time or didn't deserve your time. Okay, that could be your time, it could be your attention, it could be your resources, it could be your money, right? So maybe you're reassessing you know, your actual physical cash situation, right? And deciding what really gives you fulfillment with this Ace of Cups, right? What really is going to make you happy. Now, you also have that Magician card, which I love, because the Magician is the card of manifestation. So what it's telling us is that basically, listen, if this situation isn't what you truly want, you have the magic to make that big pivot that I was talking about, all right? So you have the opportunity to get that pivot going for yourself. You know, when I'm talking about reassessing, it's not about cutting people off. It's about readjusting your boundaries, all right? Now, sometimes you should be asking yourself, hey, who's giving more here? Is it me? Is it the other person, right? Who's been receiving, right? Or who's not been receiving? Right? Or who's been receiving but doesn't fully realize that there's a give and take here and it's not equal. Okay? Now, for some of you, this really is about generosity, because that is also, that Six of Coins is a card of generosity. And I would say for some of you only, okay, this is not going to be for everybody, this message, but I do feel for somebody out there, this has sort of turned into an obligation. Right? So we can give when we want to, but when we're doing it by obligation, it tends to not sit so well with us, right? That tends to start to bother us or disturb us a little bit when we're doing something out of an obligation rather than out of passion, out of the goodness of our heart. So for some of you out there, you'll have to give that some thought if that's your situation. Now, for others of you, I'd say it's about finally allowing yourself to receive. Maybe that comes in the form of money, but maybe it could also come in the form of love. For some of you, it's in the form of recognition. For some of you, you're looking for some support, right? So you are actually looking for that, that sort of give and take, kind of balancing out. Now, when I say you're looking to receive, I would say that it should be without feeling the need to have to earn it back, okay? Or to, you know, like sometimes we do it all and then we say, hey, I'm getting nothing out of this. Whereas you can say, you know what, I'm happy to give and I don't need to get anything out of this, all right? So again, there's going to be, you know, some of you in one camp and others of you in the other camp. But I do feel that in whatever situation you have, in all of that I just said, whatever your situation might be, because this is a general reading and it's for the collective, I would say that there is a learning here. And that learning that I'm getting off of this card is that it's really, what's really important here is sustainability. Okay? More than the fact that it's generosity. Okay? So, in other words, how long can you keep going like this? How long should this situation go? How long is it right for this situation of imbalance to go? Okay? That's why you need balance. That's what Temperance says. You need to find a balance there. So perhaps you've been disappointed, you're not getting what you're getting, you know you deserve it, okay? Take that in any area of your life. That could be in relationships, love or otherwise. It could be in your career. It could be in your home life. If you don't have a career anymore and you're retired, all right? So yeah, at the end of the day, you're saying to yourself, how long should this situation stay, you know, the way it is? And the other thing you might be saying to yourself is, I can't keep doing it the old way. Not just I can't keep doing it or how long should this situation stay, but I can't keep doing it the old way. All right? Now, let's get into this Fool card here. To me, that's your real turning point in the second week. This Fool is clarified by the King of Swords. You have the Three of Swords. And you also have this Seven of Pentacles, which is very interesting because when we're ready to make a pivot, we make a pivot because we look at this card, like this Seven of Swords, we look at the situation and we say, can I make this better? Is this acceptable? Is this worth it? Right? So this is why we are making the big pivot here, and I feel this is where your pivot really takes place, okay? Because you can no longer live with that pain. Three of Swords is the card of temporary pain, mind you, but it's a card of saying, oh, this is a bit of a sword in my heart here, something that's not acceptable, something that's uncomfortable, right? So I would say that that's your turning point. That's the big pivot time for you. Now, sometimes, or I shouldn't say that. What I should say is, like, I feel like the shift could be mental. First of all, it could be also emotional. But I feel like you're going to decide to take a new approach, okay? And that's where your King of Swords starts to take hold, if you will. Because that King of Swords says, I need to use my logic here. I need to figure out, get all the facts together in order to make this pivot, right? This is where you say, if it's mental shift, if it's an emotional shift, you're going to do a new approach completely in a way that's going to work for you on, you know, in your life, in your full life, or perhaps in your daily, you know, day-to-day tasks, or in your, just say your daily structure, okay? Now, I'm also feeling that for somebody, this new way of doing something, and I'm getting that off of the Fool card now as I'm talking here, that somebody's going to pull back from a lot of social activity. Again, that's not going to be a message for everybody, but it's for somebody out there who needs to hear it. And it's like, you know, you need to, that's your pivoting, right? To change that completely. But I would say overall, like, you're ready to take a risk, right? That's the Fool. You're ready to align with some growth that you're looking for. That's part of the pivot. And something that's more long-term and not some short-term little excitement. But again, very intentional, right? I feel like all of this is intentional, Aries. Like I feel like no matter what you've got here on the table, everything is sort of like, it's time, it's time, it's time. Let's make this pivot, right? You're not leaping blindly, so don't worry about that. But I feel like you're choosing a fresh start because the old doesn't really fit you anymore. Whatever that rhythm might be for you, whatever that might consist of. And with this Fool, I feel like you're freeing yourself up to make some kind of new space, like something new, right? And you might, for some of you, just kind of be freeing yourself up, just, you know, whatever blockages, mental blockages you might have, maybe some creative blockages for some people out there. If you're an artist, or what your business or your life, you know, centers around creativity. I feel that for somebody too. Now, new beginnings, they don't need to be dramatic, all right? So sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just to take one step that is different from the old, okay? So if the one step is something as simple as, I've decided I'm going to pivot with my health, and I don't like this, that I sit around all day. Maybe you want to lose weight, and you want to get healthy, and you want to start exercising. You can't do all of that in one shot. So maybe the simplest thing is you decide today is the first day that I am going to go for a walk every day. Okay? Instead of saying I'm going to do all 20 things and like implement them all at the same time, you're just going to do one thing. Okay? So that's really the bravest way to start to make this pivot for yourself. And probably the most practical. That's the other thing I think is important for you to know. Okay, now when we get into Judgment here, you're being clarified by the Queen of Wands. You have Justice. And you also have this Four of Pentacles, which is another interesting thing that's going on here. So, you know, this is your clarity. This is your aha moment. This is your, now I know that this pivot is good, or if you haven't made the pivot here in the second week, you're certainly making it by the third week, because now you have the clarity and you say that to yourself. It's the realization of what your priority is. What do you hold on to with this Four of Pentacles? What do you not hold on to with this Four of Pentacles? Where do you get yourself busy and get into what actions with this Queen of Wands? Because this Queen of Wands is a mover, a shaker, a manifester, right? And really Justice saying that, again, the balance here, making sure that everything is in balance, but also what is right for you, right? Because that is what Justice is about too, right? Justice is sometimes a card of saying, I'm doing what feels balanced, feels even, feels good for me, or is right for me, right? What's right for you doesn't pass you by. The universe always brings you what's right for you and will not point you in the direction of something that's wrong. Okay, so with this card, when this week, with this Judgment here, you're really deciding on the priorities, and also kind of looking back to what choices you made to pivot, and which ones feel sort of, I want to say freeing, right? What holding on to which ones, and which ones are more time to go to free yourself up. I would say for some of you, that week, that third week there, is a little bit about maybe a little bit of accountability, all right? I feel for some of you are recognizing what needs to change so you can actually step into that next version of yourself. So I would call this, I don't know, I'm going to call it a leap, and I'm going to call it a leap into your truth, or a truth for that matter. Now for others of you, that's going to be potentially about, I'm getting for somebody, again, message won't be for everybody. I feel like somebody has got some contracts to sign and gets them signed, because you have justice and judgment. You know, justice and it is about the law, so I do feel like there's some contracts in there to be signed, or potentially some paperwork that needs to be signed for somebody. So that, again, that won't be for everybody, but I do also feel that judgment is also a card of karma, okay? And I feel like there are karmic consequences that are now coming into focus for you. Now let's get into that Nine of Cups, because I love the Nine of Cups. That's a wonderful, wonderful card. And it is clarified by the Ten of Swords. You also have this Queen of Cups, and you have the Judgment card again, right? And so what it's signaling is like, yay, happily ever after, I got there. You come to the conclusion of something, because a 10 is the conclusion. You face the music, so to speak. Your judgment is, all right, I'm ready to start again. And your Queen of Cups is saying you have full focus on something that's nurturing you. So I would say to you, and this is definitely a card of nurturing, right? I mean, look at the cups on there, and the grapes, and how happy that figure is on that Nine of Cups. So I feel like the shift is complete for you by the end of this month. Now, for some of you, that shift will continue going on to other months, but I would say that you finally feel that it's worth it. Okay? Even if the shift isn't complete and it's not at its end, you are kind of saying, oh, I'm so glad I did that, right? That's what that shift is, okay? And you feel like it's really worth it, that you're making it, or that you have made it. And you're definitely going to sort of feel a bit more control for yourself. I feel like this sort of brings somebody a sense of peace. Yeah, so yeah, you're definitely feeling much more content at the end of this month. Okay, let me pull for you a animal spirit oracle card. Let's see what they tell you for the month of February, Aries. Can I have an animal spirit card, please, for Aries? You have the unicorn, and it says infinite possibilities. Well, definitely when it comes to you deciding what your pivot is going to be, I'll read to you what it says here. It says, you are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirit of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. I love that card, unicorn. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, beautiful souls, that's where I'll leave it for today. I hope something resonates. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Please know that I am, until then, as always, wishing you divine light and love.